Have you ever heard of a town that celebrated Halloween twice in one year? And what if I told you that second celebration was never meant to happen? This is the chilling story of Willow Creek, a town that vanished after a Halloween they couldn't escape. Willow Creek was the kind of town you'd see on a postcard. Small, peaceful, with white picket fences and a tight-knit community. Every year, on October 31st, the town square would come alive with the laughter of children, the bright colors of costumes, and an endless supply of candy. It was a tradition as old as the town itself. But in 1963, that tradition was broken. A massive, violent storm was forecasted to slam into the region on Halloween night. The mayor, fearing for the children's safety, made an unprecedented decision. Halloween would be celebrated early, on October 24th. The townspeople, though a bit confused, went along with it. They wanted the kids to have their special night. So, the jack-o'-lanterns were carved, the spooky decorations were hung, and on a clear, crisp Thursday evening, the streets of Willow Creek filled with tiny ghosts, goblins, and superheroes. It was a perfect night. The kids got their candy, the parents shared cider, and everyone agreed it was a wonderful celebration. As the night ended, they packed up their decorations, content that they had successfully cheated the storm. But here's the strange part. The storm never came. October 31st arrived, and the weather was calm, almost unnaturally so. The sky was clear, the air was still. The townsfolk felt a collective sense of unease. It was Halloween, but it was silent. They had already celebrated. The holiday was over. Or so they thought. That night, as the real Halloween descended, something began to happen. People woke up on the morning of November 1st to a disturbing sight. The decorations they had carefully put away a week earlier had reappeared. Pumpkins, their carved faces glowing with an eerie light, sat on porches again. Fake spider webs, which had been meticulously cleaned off, clung once more to windows. The most unsettling part, the scarecrows. Every single scarecrow in town, from every farm and front yard, had been moved. They were no longer guarding their posts. Instead, they all stood facing the same direction, their straw-stuffed bodies pointing towards the dark, looming woods at the edge of town. Panic began to ripple through Willow Creek. At first, everyone dismissed it as a large-scale prank, annoying but harmless. A group of teenagers getting a laugh. But the feeling of dread was too thick to ignore. This felt different. This felt wrong. The day was filled with nervous whispers and suspicious glances. People stayed indoors, locking their doors earlier than usual. The sun set, and an oppressive silence fell over the town once again. Then, at the stroke of midnight, the old church bell began to toll. Its deep resonant clang echoed through the empty streets, one strike after another. But the church was locked, and the bell ringer was at home, terrified like everyone else. As the bell continued its ghostly ringing, the lights in the town square started to flicker on and off, casting long dancing shadows. A woman peering from her window screamed. She swore she saw figures moving in the streets, going from house to house. They were in costume. They were trick-or-treating, but no one in Willow Creek had gone out. Their children were all tucked into bed. The calls started flooding the small police station. One man, his voice trembling with a mix of terror and disbelief, claimed he saw his own son walking towards his door. His son, who had passed away from an illness 3 years prior. An elderly woman called, crying, saying her late husband had knocked on her front door. She said she heard his voice clear as day through the wood, asking, "Aren't you going to celebrate with us again?" The trick-or-treaters went from their town. They were the town's past, its memories, its ghosts, come back to celebrate the Halloween they were owed. By morning, the true horror was revealed. The town was no longer just silent, it was empty. Half the population was gone, vanished without a trace. The houses of the missing stood with their doors slightly ajar, as if someone had just left. The remaining residents were paralyzed with fear, refusing to speak about what they had seen or heard. They locked themselves away, the town becoming a prison of its own making. Weeks later, a lone traveler passing through found Willow Creek completely abandoned. The entire town was a ghost town. He walked through the silent streets, a chilling wind his only companion. Every house he entered was the same. The front door was open. Half-full bowls of candy sat on tables by the entrance. The faint sweet smell of burnt-out candle wicks hung heavy in the air, a final remnant of the jack-o'-lantern's glow. The traveler eventually made his way to the town hall. He pushed open the heavy oak doors and stepped inside. Everything was covered in a thin layer of dust, except for one spot. On the mayor's grand, polished desk, there was a single sheet of paper. It was a note written in a frantic, shaky hand. It held the final, terrifying message from the lost town of Willow Creek. It read, "You called them once, they came twice. Next time, they'll stay." The story of Willow Creek serves as a dark warning about messing with tradition, and about invitations that, once sent, can never be taken back. Some say the spirits still wait in that empty town, celebrating Halloween every single year, waiting for someone new to join their endless party. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the unsettling, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows.